Alright, in this video we're going to be looking at quadratics in vertex form. Quadratics, just to give you a quick reminder, are parabolas. So notice I have drawn two basic parabolas on the opening page here. One we have that is opening up with a minimum, and one that is opening down with a maximum. Objectives: understand what a quadratic is, understand vertex form of a quadratic, and understand graphing a quadratic. Some vocabulary. First, quadratic, an equation where the largest power is 2 and it creates a parabola. Second, vertex, turning point of a graph. And third, line of symmetry. This is a vertical line that cuts a parabola into mirror halves, meaning same thing on both sides. Here's a parabola. There's a line of symmetry cutting it in half. Okay, we will now start with vertex form. Vertex form looks like this. It is y equals a. We then have a parentheses around x minus h. Finish the parentheses, we square that quantity, and then we add k. So here's what these letters are saying. Obviously x and y are the x and y we've always used. The h and the k are our vertex. So our h is our x value of the vertex, and our k is our y value of the vertex. The h will always be opposite of what it is in the vertex. So if in the vertex it is positive 3, in vertex form you will have x minus 3. Whereas if the vertex has an x value of negative 4, within vertex form you will see x plus 4. Always opposite there. Whereas the k will be exactly what it says. So if the y value is positive 1, it would be plus 1. The a is what we call the stretch factor. And what we do to find this is we actually have to do a little bit of math between a couple points, and we typically just take the vertex to the next point, which should have a ratio in a basic quadratic of 1. But if that ratio ends up being 2, then our stretch factor is 2. And if that ratio ends up being, say, 1/3, then our stretch factor would be 1/3. Also, the a tells us which way the graph will open. So a positive a means it will go up, and a negative a means it will go down. Alright, let's look at actually finding the equation. So here I have a graph, not the best drawn graph, but we're going to go with it. As you can see, we can easily find the vertex here, and that's going to be important. So our vertex is negative 3, negative 1. So what we need to do is start creating our equation. So we have y equals, I'm just going to leave a in there right now, x. We have an h value of -3. Well, that's always opposite, so we're going to add 3 to x. We're going to square it. Our k value is -1, so that one's exactly what it says, so I'm going to put -1 there. So now we have to go into finding the a. This is a little bit tricky, but all we have to do is just see how far up it goes from how far over and how far up our values go from the first point to the second point. And it doesn't matter if you go right or left. So we're looking at from the vertex to the next point over. So notice here we went up 2, but we went over 1. So this is going to give us a 2 over 1 because there's 2 up and 1 over. Notice how this is kind of like our slope that we've done in the past. So this one's going to be 2 over 1. So that is also known as 2. So we can erase the a value and put in 2 as our a value. And since this one's opening up, notice the arrows here are pointing up. So it's opening up, so this is a positive 2. So we get y equals 2, parentheses x plus 3, and the parentheses squared, minus 1. Alright, let's look at a graph again. So now we have this new one. Obviously, first thing we need to know is our vertex. So the vertex here is, well, we've got 4, and it goes up to 9. So we're going to start our equation. Y equals, I just put an a as a filler, x, here's our h value, it's a 4. Remember, this is always opposite, so since that's a positive 4, we're going to have minus 4 here. Square it. And then we have, since this was a positive 9, we're going to have plus 9 for our k. That's exactly what it says. Now we need to figure out the a. Notice here, we go from the vertex to the next one over. We went right 1 and down 1. That's going to be 1 over 1. So that's the same as 1. But notice how the arrows are pointing down. So this is going to be a -1. So we're going to take our a value out. And in its place, we're going to put -1. Now remember, with a 1, you don't actually have to have the 1. So you could just have a negative sign in front. But I like to have the 1 there just to remind me. So we got a -1. Last thing we're going to do is we are going to graph one. Now, as I do this on my tablet, my graph may not look the best, but we're going to do the best we can. So the first thing that I always find is I make a graph, or a table, that gives me 5 spots. First thing that I put is I put the middle spot right here. Now you can make your table vertical. I have a horizontal one. Both work. So my middle one is going to be my vertex, as I've labeled. My vertex here, well, there's my h value. It says +1, so as we've learned in the past, that means that it's opposite, so I should have a -1 there. Then I have a k of 10, so I get a 10 right there. So I'm going to put a dot at -1, 10, so -1 up to 10. My dot's a little bit off, but we're going to go with it. So there's my dot at -1, 10. Now I need some numbers on either side. Well, the thing with parabola is it's cut in half. So there's really a vertical line that gets drawn right here, and either side is going to be a mirror image of the other. So I can use 0 here and -2 here, and they're actually going to give me the same value, so I only have to do it once. So I'm going to put 0 in, so 0 plus 1 is 1. So I'm going to take 1 squared and get 1, and then I'm timesing that by -3. So that's going to give me -3. Then I'm going to add 10. So I'm going to get 7 when I put in 0. -2 is going to give me the same thing. So I can go to 0, 7. Hopefully you can graph a little bit better than me. And -2, 7. And we'll do one more just for help. So we're going to go 1 and -3 here. And again, they should be the same because they're on either sides of our line. So this one I'll do in blue. So we've got 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times -3 is -12. Plus 10 should give me -2. So I'm going to graph that -2. And then we can draw our parabola. Alright, I know this has been kind of long, but the examples hopefully will help. Bring any questions that you have to class, and we will figure them out. Thank you.